In 1939, Universal Studios released Son of Frankenstein, and it's an absolute classic. So much so that Mel Brooks parodied many of its iconic elements in Young Frankenstein.
Another classic.
It is. And Son of Frankenstein is one of our favorites.
Yeah.
And serves as inspiration for our latest Gallery 1988 piece, The Monster Walks. Now, as the doctor wraps the body and prepares for this ghastly experiment, I want to acknowledge that a lion's share of this piece is Michelle's wonderfully sculpted, needle-felted Frankenstein monster.
But the whole piece is based on your stylized design of the monster.
Right, but we both wanted to retain a few key elements from the movie version.
Like the headscarf, the neck bolts, the furry vest.
The vest.
And of course, I had to give him his iconic platform shoes.
So Gallery 1988's latest show, it opened this past Friday, is called The Golden Age of Hollywood.
Yeah.
Which, as you know, is my favorite age of Hollywood.
So brave. Very bold statement.
There's a lot of good movies.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, but it's mine too, which makes this a perfect show for us.
Right? The criteria for the show is that the pieces must be inspired by movies released between 1915 and 1963.
That's a big list.
It's a huge list.
The trick is to make something you're passionate about.
Right.
But to balance that with something recognizable enough for people to understand.
Yeah, and there were some deeper cuts that we passed on that we liked. Umbrellas of Cherbourg. Anyone? Anyone? We love that movie. But, you know, that stuff is not immediately recognizable.
We also didn't want to pick something that a bunch of other artists might do.
Right.
Nosferatu, The Wizard of Oz, Psycho.
All good ones. There were so many good ones. But, you know, we wanted to make a monster.
Yeah.
So we went with Son of Frankenstein. I noticed your process is very similar to Dr. Frankenstein's process.
Yeah.
Attaching body parts, limb by limb, appendage by appendage. It's all pretty grisly when you think about it.
Grisly? How dare you call these
a little grisly.
Pristine surgery scars grisly?
Yeah, no, not grisly at all.
Right?
Not at all. And I'm not at all upset that, based on the color choices, the flesh of his forearm is decomposing at a quicker rate than the flesh of his hand.
That's called attention to detail.
Yeah, and I am sure that Dr. Frankenstein was just as meticulous.
Right?
But now we need to descend into the sub-basement laboratory where I am putting together the base of the diorama.
Oh, yeah.
In an effort to tell a story with this piece, I considered putting various objects on the base. A rusty chain on the ground. There are chains hanging prominently in the movie.
Yeah.
I considered a brain. Brain transfer is mentioned at a few points.
Right.
But I thought a bright pink brain might draw the eye too much.
You and I tossed around the idea of having an arm bone laying on the stones.
The arm bone.
A reference to Frankenstein's monster. It's mentioned in the movie.
Yeah.
Ripped someone's arm off.
Right.
So maybe that's a thing he enjoys doing.
I think he does.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to evoke like a dark, dank dungeon and fit our fun, cartoony style in there.
Oh, yeah, right.
And what better way to do that than to have a hungry rat scurrying around?
He's adorable.
Talk about adorable. So the design process for this project went similarly to how we design most of our other collaborations.
Oh, yeah.
First, we had to pick a theme.
There was a lot of back and forth on the movie we used.
So much back and forth.
And we had some different design ideas for other movies.
Oh, yeah, and we should revisit those sometime.
Oh, we should.
Because we had some fun ideas.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we picked Son of Frankenstein, and then usually I will start with a design sketch, and you'll give it the old thumbs up.
Right.
And we begin.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like with this one, we'll keep discussing it along the way.
Right.
Changing it as it goes. We come up with better ideas as we go along.
Right, like we changed the design of his face on this one.
Right.
And you went from a rusty chain to a frightened rat.
Yeah, I like bouncing ideas back and forth with you.
Me too.
Because I think that way we're both more involved in the decision-making process.
Yeah.
And it really feels like more of a team effort.
Oh, boy.
Frankenstein, make some poor decisions in life.
I put this part in to show that it's not entirely a needle-felted sculpture.
No, mostly, but not entirely.
Right. It's a mixed media.
Yeah.
With some clay elements, plastic, some fabric.
Oh, yeah, I enjoyed working on the fabric part.
Yeah.
That's one of the most important parts.
It is.
And there it is. And as we once again roll footage of us awkwardly putting clothing on one of our figures, I want to thank all of our Patreon supporters,
Yes,
not
thank
only
you.
for putting up with this ridiculousness, but for actively funding it. Your contributions allow us to make these videos and put clothes on all of our monsters.
Yes.
With my head.
Okay, so we're about ready to reveal the final images. I just have to put some of the storytelling elements in place.
I can't believe you took the time to make a temporary base for the rat.
Yeah, well, you know what I always say. What am I always saying around here?
Does this look infected?
Oh my God, no. I say if something is worth doing,
Right.
it's worth overdoing.
You're right. You do say that.
I do always say that. And that's why I'm adding a little piece of cheese for the rat to drop in his terror.
Yes.
It's storytelling, Michelle. Plus, I had a little extra clay. All right, let's look at this thing. We titled the piece The Monster Walks.
Yes.
Inspired by the movie Son of Frankenstein, 1939, and a line of dialogue by Igor, as played by Bela Lugosi. Monster walk again. He came to see Monster Walk.
Yes.
It's currently in the Golden Age of Hollywood show at Gallery 1988.
Yep.
I am happy to say that I believe it is the only piece based on the Son of Frankenstein movie.
I think so too, yeah.
So we chose well.
Yes.
But I do regret to inform any interested parties that I believe the piece has sold.
It has sold, yes.
I think it sold very early on the first day. Picked up by someone whom I can only assume has excellent taste in both monster movies and art.
Yes. But don't let that discourage you from going to the gallery's website and looking at all the amazing pieces they have.
So much good stuff there.
There is, yeah. We'll leave a link to the show in the notes down below.
I had an unnatural amount of fun working on this piece with you.
Me too.
You did an amazing job with the figure. Your felting work really knocked me out.
Thank you. The first time I looked at your design sketches, I knew I really wanted to make this one. And your rat is adorable.
You know your weird pickup lines don't work on me. For you Frankenstein fans, a little while ago I inked a Son of Frankenstein illustration. You can check that out at the link. And if you'd like to see our last Gallery 1988 piece, here's a link to our Blade vs. Frost double diorama.
Yes.
Great job. This was fun.
Oh, I had a blast.